There we go.
Yep.
Whoo! All right. That was a frustrating week. Agonizing live eviction, stupidity, and then don't even get me started on this little America's vote we got going on.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts. I've heard this. Just tweeted this. I've heard this story before. Pendant of protection. Marie's gonna get the votes, and it's probably gonna be a competition that's catered towards her because it's what 2 weeks of safety, right? 2 weeks.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's 2 weeks of safety for them or a person of their choosing, right? So they
But
can basically.
who's not choosing themselves?
Right. But also, what I mean is like, so for instance, if Suri does win and the next week Jared gets evicted, then she'll use it on him. You get what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
you see what I'm saying? Like, the person more than likely, I mean, I see a lot of situations where it doesn't get used on the person that wins, right? So,
Wait. Okay. Describe it. Describe it. Maybe I misheard it. I thought it was just 2 weeks of safety.
no. So it's basically they have the ability to save whoever's evicted for the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's why it was getting called a halting hex. I
Hmm.
see. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
combined the 19. They combined the 19 twists. So it's a
Yeah.
halting hex.
I
So it's just
honestly
halting hex.
I see it more than not being, I see it not being used more than I see it being used.
Interesting. Either way, it better not be a comp catered towards. I love her, but this is what happened to Paul. They had
She
their
doesn't
return.
need it. I mean, she doesn't need it. She's not going anywhere in the next 2 weeks.
Well, they want to make sure she gets jury, and that's in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and then probably at jury there'll be some sort of buyback just in case she get like. There's gonna be things that can play into her advantage moving forward. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't mind it because I like Suri, but like, I mean, she's already got a lot of things going for her with like a pre-existing relationship
Hmm.
with Jared playing across the house, which I want to talk about how royally fucked up she took it this way. I'll get into that. But she has that pre-existing relationship, and then she's also just a legend of the game that has such an advantage over these people now sitting in
Hmm.
the house with these newbies, right? They're not on her level. It's not fair.
Right.
Now for the fucking pre-existing relationship and how they just fucked up this week by taking a shot at Hassan. Because now it's not Suri and Jared on two sides. They played the move to play everyone. Now they have to throw HOHs and be on the same side now. They don't have that line of communication they did anymore, where it was Jared with this side, Suri with this side. Now it's Jared and Suri tied together in like 6 alliances, and they are going to regret now having a side being built against them that they have no unfair line of communication for.
Right. Well, I don't think that there's a side against them yet,
Exactly.
per se.
Yeah.
But down the line, definitely they're gonna have to show their cards, right?
Right.
Um, I just think that personally, I mean, to kind of touch on your thing about talking about Suri, I just don't understand like people in this house. Like, I don't know if they didn't watch BB19 or if they just like what they're thinking, but like if they don't want to win, they're doing all the things right by letting Suri get to like basically untouched, right? She's just in the house,
Well,
not even
it's
having.
tough. It's tough because the shot should have been made on Riley's HOH. Suri should have been
Right.
backboard right there. It would have been the easiest excuse to put her up too. You didn't need to do anything. It
Hmm.
was just easy. Suri, I'm sorry, but you've played this game before. You know, you've played Survivor 4 times, Traders, multiple shows, right? You have to go up. I'm so sorry, but we can, talk about it moving forward. Suri would take it on the chin and play it off as okay, whatever. Because and then she would get her vengeance if she stays. If she doesn't, she's proud to let her brother or not her brother, her son go on to play. Right? It wouldn't have been that.
Hmm.
That's when you should have took the shot. Now that she's cemented herself,
Right.
it's gonna keep going, and she's gonna have this cult like mob that is like, how dare you touch Suri? How
Hmm.
dare you? And
Yeah.
it's already building. I saw Hamster Watch tweet the picture of Suri trying to shower, and she has Izzy and Felicia right outside the door talking game to her. Like she does not get a second away from those two. And it's
No.
and I think she realizes it, but first it was Felicia that was like right away, I am on Suri. Like we are locked. Now Izzy is losing her independence. She's starting to be on the Suri train, and then she has Jared as well, which is just her actual number one. So he has every right to protect his mom, right? And now you see some power players, aligning themselves with her when she was once against them, right? Just because she didn't send Hissam home herself, it was Felicia's move, but Suri was able to angle it off as her move to them and not her move to Hassam or
Mhm.
Haitham. It's incredible gameplay. But I said this about Paul too. I said Paul had incredible gameplay and people hated me for it. But it's incredible gameplay, but people don't seem to hate Suri for it necessarily. So we'll see.
Yeah. I just think that it's just a big mistake for people to keep on leaving her in the game. But at this point, it's too late. There's not much that you can do, right?
Right.
Even if you put her on the block against like a Felicia, she's still going to go stay. So we'll have to see. I think it's Corey that positions himself eventually down the line to take her out. But
you would think the
that's just-
season's like pre-recorded the way they set Corey up to
Yeah.
take her out. Like if
Yeah.
it happened, it's like the craziest edit prediction possible. Like they keep setting him up to be the guy that's gonna take the shot, and he's reasonably the only guy that's gonna take the shot. Like,
but that relationship to Jared, man, that's gonna really screw him
but
up
see, this
because
is what I'm saying.
he's gonna need Jared to end up voting her out, and it's not gonna happen.
But this is what I'm saying is slowly Jared is gonna be the downfall because he's slowly putting himself closer and closer to Suri, calling her Mama Suri, doing all these things and I like that he's calling her Mama Suri because I like the whole hiding in broad daylight type of idea because it's like
I think it helps more than it hurts.
It does. It's like when Tommy and Christy would like compare notes and be like, "Wow, I drive that highway all the time. It's like we live right next to each other." And people would be like, "Oh, that's so crazy! You guys live so near each other." And that kind of rules out the possibility because that deception of honesty paints a facade of that it's not not as close as it actually is because you're telling part truths. But but Jared's now trying to like they got the I can't keep track of the alliance names, but there's the alliance with Jag, Matt, Felicia,
Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah. And then you have the Izzy. Is it Izzy or Felicia? I know it's Suri, Jared, Corey, and Izzy or Felicia. I think it's Izzy. Crossroads.
Izzy, Jared, Suri, and Izzy, Jared, Suri, and Corey. Those four.
Yeah, that one. Now Corey's slowly people are gonna start looking at Jared and Suri as people that aren't gonna eliminate each other, and that's gonna take away the advantage of them having a pre-existing relationship that they can compare notes with constantly.
It's almost, we both know that nobody in the house is smart enough to put them together as mother and son.
Right. But it's not gonna be mother and son.
It's almost like they're just like making themselves a duo in the game naturally. Exactly. Yeah,
like someone wouldn't go to Felicia and say we need to take Suri out because Suri and Felicia are allies, right? So now it's going to be no one's going to go to Jared to try to take out Suri because Jared and Suri are allies. Maybe they start painting them as a mother and son relationship. Oh, like she's like a mother to him or something. He's not going to take her out. And like little do they know that's his fucking mom. Like he doesn't even need to be that. Like that's literally his mom. But I think
there's a chance. I think that there's a chance early on in the game that we do see somebody approach Jared. When I say early, I mean like maybe final 10, final 9, like the first time around, somebody do approach Jared and be like, we have to get her out eventually. I definitely could see that. But once he does, he's going to end up doing something to combat that the first time, and then from there on, he'll be left out of the plans to take her out.
Well, there's the whole thing about Blue as well, the showmance.
Yeah,
and that's so polarizing. It's either going to be amazing for his game or it's going to be the detriment of his game because it's either going to be an excuse to take Blue out down the line for someone else. They're going to put Blue and Jared, right? Or it's going to be a reason to take him out because he tells Blue some information he shouldn't, and Blue's more logical than that to let it slide.
I don't think she'll any information that he tells her. I don't think that she's gonna tell other people as it for.
I don't know if he's got like that yet.
And I think it benefits in a way because now rather than Jared and Suri going up on the block, it's Jared and Blue going up on the block, and we all know Jared would be protected over her. So
yeah, for sure, it's very Cookout-esque where Jared now has a duo where if they need Blue out, Suri can maybe win an HOH and say, she could completely separate herself from Jared by taking a shot at the showmance. Little does everyone know she's not taking a shot at the showmance. She's taking a shot at Blue, using the showmance as an excuse. And then it also separates the undying loyalty that Jared and Suri have, because Suri puts him and Blue up, knowing she has the numbers to keep him. They move forward better than ever, right? But then it's love comes into play, and then you got to get Jared like out of his feels potentially, and which I don't think is going to be hard to do. But
yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see, but that's a conversation down the road. But what did you think about this week with Hisam going?
Hisam going is moronic. It should not have happened on Felicia's HOH. The reason I was so at it, because I own up I was wrong. I thought Hisam was not going home because the odds just were in his favor, right? He has undying loyalty to about 8 people that he just kept safe, and he's willing to win and put his neck on the line for them. Week 3. You have that, and there's people in this game you genuinely don't know how to feel about, that haven't proven any trust to you, that haven't voted to keep you, kept you safe, nothing. But you have this guy that's a target ahead of you, a shield, willing to keep you. But they decided to candor to the other side and try to put themselves more in the middle and play a more game with a lot more risk associated with it by creating so many different alliances to keep everyone happy and keep all these unanimous votes rolling, right? Because that's what Suri wants, is total control. I'm not saying this was completely stupid for Suri, because it is working out for her in a sense of control. I'm saying it is absolutely stupid for Felicia, the one that did it. It is absolutely stupid for Izzy, the one that was pushing it and keeping it from flipping today. Corey is an iffy one, because Corey, it could pay out for him, because that was a number he took away from Suri.
Right.
But for some of those people, it was not beneficial at all.
Yeah.
And I did not think he was going home, because the odds of he should have gone home with a Jag 1 HOH, a Blue 1 HOH, a couple other people, 4. And I thought the odds of that happening and those people and how they're competing, it's not happening. It's likely going to be a Red HOH, Felicia HOH, something along those lines, which we both got right. It was Felicia HOH.
Yeah.
And I did not think they were taking the shot at Hisam, because it just wouldn't be good for their games, right? But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I said that one of 2 ways. As soon as feeds turn back on, we'll know, whether he's going to go home or not. And they stuck to their guns that they had planned earlier the week. I think it was a stupid move, especially seeing how loyal Hisam, planned on being. I think it was a stupid move. And I think that the way that they went about it was even more stupid, by doing it on Felicia's HOH. And once again, almost did an even stupider move. Like, once they did the move, once Hisam was on the block and he was being backdoored, the way that they set up their alliances and stuff, they had to follow through with the plan. And had it not been for Corey, they would have flipped the vote. And that would have been even more stupider.
Okay. I thought it would have been more stupider watching feeds and hearing about it. But then you watch that episode and you hear Hisam in the DR, and he truly was going to be like,
yeah,
well, maybe he was fronting for the DR about his whole integrity thing, whatever. But if what he was saying in the DR was true, maybe they did have a case to keep him if he was going to be absolutely undyingly faithful to them. Then you have Jag against you. You have a few people against you. Who do you have against you? You have Jag, Matt, Red, Blue,
Bowie.
They probably could have flipped Bowie. I don't think they're worried about Bowie flipping.
They planned on excluding her from the vote. So let me just expand on why I think it was a bad idea to flip the vote. It wasn't. The Hisam, turning around and just targeting them again, or targeting them for what they did. That was a little bit of the worry, but more so of the worry was, now you've created an alliance, the 7 Deadly Sins, with Jag, Blue, Matt.
Yeah, actually, you're right, kind of.
And you've created an alliance with basically everybody in the house, whereas now you're just in the middle, right? And you're just kind of protected by all angles. Whereas if you flip and it's a certain group of people and they would all find out who that group of people is, now you're a set solid group, and now you're back to this side versus this side, right? And if that side wins HOH, they're targeting the heads of the snakes, which would be Suri and Izzy. So that's why I think it's smarter to just kind of let it. It was stupid doing the move to begin with, but it's like almost one of those situations. Would you rather have Hisam fighting for you, one person fighting for you, or would you rather have 5 people coming against you? You get what I'm saying? Whereas
I get what you're saying. Like once you've done it, you got to commit to it.
right,
So all we agree on is it should have never happened.
correct.
That's first of all for anyone watching or seeing this down the line. It just shouldn't have happened. Heisem should still be in the house right now. Once you went up, if you wanted to flip it, it should have been right. It should have been right away, right after you did it. Because he went on the apology tour. If you had an inkling, you should have done it right away and started setting the groundwork. And you also shouldn't have made all those alliances. I agree. Once you make all those alliances and you put all your cards on the table like that, you're gonna get painted as the messy person.
Now, let me tell you how Jalen, the Big Brother player, would have navigated this situation. And I thought about this during the episode. Okay. So, had I been approached like Corey with a plan to flip the vote, and I do agree that keeping Heisem, it would be good for my game, right? How I would have approached it would have been, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the only way that they could have kept Heisem, and it would have made sense. So what we're going to do is this group of 6, we're the ones that's flipping the vote, and we're going to explain that to Heisem, okay? We're going to tell him, everybody's going to vote to keep you, but this is the 6 that did it. The only way that we're able to keep you and not alienate us from the other side of the house is by getting them in on the vote as well. So it's going to be a unanimous vote to keep you. However, this is the 6 that actually initiated that. So you get that 6 to initiate the vote flip. You get everybody else in the house to agree to it. Now you have a unanimous vote to keep Heisem. Heisem also knows, so that the people aren't alienated, right? Because Suri and Izzy could have went to that other alliance and been like, hey, we want to keep Heisem. Let's do this as a group. And then the whole house keeps them. Now there's no sides, but Heisem deep down knows who was the ones who initiated the flip and who actually has his back.
He would have inferred that. He would have been, okay, Suri, Izzy, Felicia, Jared, right? That's 4 off the bat. And then you tell them he gets told
Mimi,
2, right? And then
Mimi and Corey.
He'll know the people that didn't want it. Like, that was going to be, the problem is you wouldn't have been able to get the other side to not be adamant that he needed to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could. 100%.
Well, okay, but you're putting yourself in Corey's position. So take Corey out of the house and put you inside, because Corey was the number 1 person that said Hassam had to go, shut down every conversation.
Because I don't think that he saw the angle. Corey agreed that Heisem would defend them and fight for them, but Corey was on the train that if we do this, it's gonna blow up our spot, and we're gonna have half the house against us, and that's just not worth it.
Well, I think Corey played it right because who's Heisem going to be more loyal to if he stays in the house down the line?
Oh, no, for sure. Corey played it right, but had he saw that situation, I think that was a way that Heisem could have stayed, and they wouldn't have alienated other people in the house.
I think Corey had to be just not in the house point blank in order for Heisem to stay. If Corey was in that house, it was going to be, if you want Corey as an ally, you're going to lose him if you really try to keep Heisem, because he wasn't 100% evicting Heisem this week with 100% intent of sending him home, and wasn't gonna, like, he saw through all the reasonings. Like, people would come to him and be like, well, Cameron didn't pack his bags.
Yeah, that's
Corey's like, okay, what's the real reason you want to keep Heisem? Like, he sees through that, right?
And that's the biggest flaw in Suri, Izzy, and Felicia's game, is that they're so emotional and paranoid, and like, they've almost made so many bad decisions for their own game, but somebody like Corey or Jared talks them out of it. And eventually there's going to come a point in time where they're just going to make a bad, emotional, paranoid game decision. Like, they're sitting up in the HOH room, watching the TV screen, formulating alliances that don't exist based off where people are going in the house and trying to read their body language. And it's just like, the paranoia is just out of control. And I don't think that that's a headspace that you can play this game effectively in. And that's why Heisem went home. And that's why it was you know what I mean? That was a bad decision for them, because their paranoia got the best of them. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I just don't see this lasting lasting long. I think, and Izzy's so emotional. I think there's going to be a point in time whenever she gets paranoid on Suri and thinks Suri's doing something to blow her game.
That's kind of why, like, I love the edit Nicole's getting. I really do. I like that she's the level-headed voice of reason for a lot of these people that are crying all the time. I love that edit she got.
But she's a level-headed voice of reason to herself, but she's not like talking people off the cliff.
Well, she's downplaying herself currently. Yeah,
I think she just doesn't have a big impact in the game. I think that's where
I don't think so. I don't think so. Currently, she just listen. There is a chance the best player in the world goes into the house and is alienated. There's a chance. It is 15 complete strangers, and you're put in there, and that's the cards you're dealt. Unfortunately for Nicole, she was not able to get a card dealt to her that was someone she could, stick to, because she just didn't. She hasn't got that someone that I think you said how important a number one is to have. Loyalty is. She hasn't got that person, so she has to, and that's. I mean, I think
she's too standoffish. Personally,
you could say, but like some people like standoffish, right? Like it's how your personality clashes with people, right? And she just got a bunch of people that are, and Suri comes into play, and Jared and her relationship, the dynamic just isn't in her favor from the jump, right? Because maybe she is a standoffish person, but she didn't get any people that were, she didn't get any strangers across America that were open to receiving her personality. Like,
I think Kirsten could have been that person.
Kirsten was stupid. That's the thing. Kirsten was a bit stupid.
Yeah, she was.
And Nicole is smart. I think, and Nicole kind of knew it and was like, I feel like I would get along with Nicole, but I don't think most people I don't think you would get along with Nicole, maybe, right? Like, it's just different people, right? So how she's got to do it is just down the line. It has to be game related instead of social related, strategic reasons, not social reasons. So it's going to be her maybe winning a pressure cooker HOH that she really, 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 really could use right now, to form those solid connections and really good dynamics and pick up some players that she really needs to lighten up on. That could help her, a strategic reason, or just keep it pushing. And then when numbers get slim, people are going to need her. They're gonna need her. We've seen players that are 10 times more alienated get to the very end and win. It's very possible, and she has a level head on her shoulders. I am still very high on Nicole. A lot of people were like, she's going home. She was never going home this week. Never. There was never a doubt in my mind that she was going home this week. Are you out of your mind? Was not happening. I know Felicia considered it, but she considered a lot of people going home this week.
Yeah, you can't ever take anything that they say for fact. But just an update on the pressure cooker. It looks like everybody is still left in.
I was about to ask, yeah. And what's up, Luke, in the chat? Softest satin. Hello, anyone that's watching in the chat. Comment.
So, I guess we can kind of talk about. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? What's something that you
I got my notes.
Would be a good.
All right. I want to say, my boy Jeremy in the chat. What's up, tiebreaker daddy? All right. So, using buyback. Okay, here's another point. Here's a prediction. Quick prediction. Why I think there's going to be a jury buyback, and it's because I think if in the event Izzy gets evicted in those first 4 jury slots, they will want a buyback in order to preserve the secret. They want the secret to be lasting as far as possible, right? So if someone's evicted and they go to jury, right, or whatever, having a 4-person buyback delays the secret from being revealed to everyone until the final 7 episode, because that's the soonest Izzy will be in the jury house if she's evicted and loses the buyback with them. So I think in order to preserve the big shock factor, to delay it to at least final 7, they're going to take a buyback to make sure Izzy or Jared or Suri isn't on jury to tell anyone yet. They're going to sequester them for at least 4 more weeks at jury. That way, that big shock, because it's the twist of the season. I don't see them letting it out. Imagine Izzy's first juror and every juror gets told, or Izzy's the 3rd juror and 2 people find out and that's the shock. And then it's not as they want the ending shock, because the way they've been telling it to everyone in their goodbye, it's clearly the thing this season. So I think there's going to be a buyback to preserve it.
I agree. I just think that the length of the season and how everything's lining up, I think that it makes sense for a jury buyback, especially if the power doesn't get used and eviction doesn't get flipped around. So, I guess we could kind of get into our our rankings.
I do have a take though, and Emerson's gonna
Okay.
like this take. I'm extremely with the 7 deadly sins forming. I'm extremely high on Jag, and I'm extremely high on Matt as a duo. Matt and Jag, I'm extremely high on. I think this is exactly what they needed to do. They weren't the ones that needed to pivot. They got it pivoted towards them. They just got it handed to them that they're now the majority in power. The only thing is they gotta make sure that they're not the shot that gets took when when it could be an Izzy, when it could be
My only reservation with that is that Suri, Izzy, and Felicia are not fully bought into the 7 deadly sins.
right.
So I just don't think.
But to their perception, their perception is that they need to act like they are. So if they were to win an HOH, taking a shot at them would be unreasonable. So that's why I think some fingers are going to be getting lifted off that button here really soon by Suri, and Izzy's a bit stupid. Izzy shouldn't win a competition, but she might go for it.
I think those are probably within the first 5 that go out. Just if you don't need to win HOH, this is not an HOH that you're gonna win.
Right.
Like it's gonna take extreme willpower to sit on hold a button for that long. That's why I think somebody like the targets of the week, which we'll get more into, Cameron, Red, more than likely one of them wins.
My sorry, my HOH prediction. We can say these first. What are, because we got Felicia right before the twist of it being in the dark. My prediction was Matt to win it, but I picked up Raisa earlier from volleyball. I told her, gave her a rundown, and the first thing she says is, "Oh my God, it's in the dark. How is Matt gonna understand literally anyone? Because he reads lips. That's his helping forming the words, right? So they took away his one weapon, is reading people's lips. So homeboy is just gonna be in there holding the button, hearing murmurs, and that's it. That's it. He's not gonna be able to make a deal with anyone. So maybe that keeps him going, but no one's gonna talk him. No one can talk to this guy, and that might get in his head too, because it's different if you're in, holding a button, you got people to talk to, people to laugh with. Time goes by faster. If you're holding that button and it's, it's confinement almost, you want to let go of that so fast. And time goes, there's no watches. You have no concept of time either. He has no idea who's left, right? It's pitch black, right? I haven't seen the feeds, right? It's pitch black.
Yeah, it's pitch black.
It's pitch black. He has no idea who's left. All he hears is, from what I understand about his disability, is murmurs, right? He hears some things, but he's not going to be able to make out words or voices unless he can see them, right? So he's in the dark, holding a button. Time's going to tick. It's going to be like, for every 5 seconds, he's going to think that's 1 second. It's going to go slow. He's going to think he's in there for hours, and it's going to be 20 minutes, right? That's just how it is when you're alone, right? In the pitch black, you got no concept of it. So nervous for him now, a little. If it was in the broad daylight, I think Matt goes all day because he wants that HOH room so bad for one-on-one conversations. He mentions it every other conversation, I think. So
who's your official prediction?
Lord, something in me. Okay. I want to say America. Everyone's still in?
Yep, everyone's still in. Officially the 1 hour mark.
Red's a sleeper as well.
I think that his like stomach issues and just being an old man. I just don't think.
But if America might throw it to someone, but she can't see, but they can talk. I'll go. I know Matt's a competitor, so I'm gonna rock with Matt on this, even though it's gonna be dreadful for him and extremely unfair for him. I'll stick with Matt.
For me, my unfortunate HOH official prediction is going to be Cameron.
No, dude.
Yep.
No. Yep. That's not happening. I can tell you right now. I can see
it's gonna be.
He's out at 1 a.m. I know the future.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be almost basically unfathomable to watch him sit in the DR and say Space Cowboy 17 times an episode. But
well, if you think about it this way, there might be people that don't let go until he's out,
Yeah, but I think that he's gonna get a sense that he's been on the block 2 weeks. If anybody has a reason to absolutely win this competition, it's him. So my official prediction is gonna be Cameron. And being that Cameron and Jagger are going after each other, I think it's going to come down to those two.
Okay. I would say I think it's going to come down to Matt and Nicole. I think they both want it.
We'll have to find out.
We'll see, though. Jag and Trish would be crazy.
Yeah. So power rankings, or you have weird tiers, but
yeah, I got Dominic's tiers.
Weird names for them, but we'll let you go off there.
All right. Starting with the graveyard, Cameron. He is in the graveyard still, and I don't think he's ever cut. It could be final 2 when he's going to be in the graveyard. He's not winning the game. He has no shot. There is every combination of jury and any combination of someone he sits next to in the end, he will lose. It doesn't matter if it's imagine, I don't know, it's Suri and him and Jared's pre-jury. Suri's winning. Like there's nothing there's nothing he beats. It's not happening. Correct. He hasn't played a good enough game. He's not going to be respected enough. Not happening. Next tier. So that's tier 6. Tier 5. We got anything but a showmance. Anything but a showmance. I am so low on Jared and Blue as strategists, as game players. The only advantage Jared has is his connection to Suri, which might keep him a week longer than Blue, but this is terrible for both their games, in my opinion. It has no benefits. Again, like we said, maybe Jared has a little benefit because he'll go up next to Blue, but even then, that requires someone taking a shot at them, and there's so many things that come into play where someone might be closer to Blue, like Jag might win an HOH and want to isolate Blue by taking out Jared and not putting her up. There's so much things that he does not need the spotlight for, and then Blue already had just terrible social capital. This flirtmance turning into a showmance with a guy she's not even like insane about, right? It's not boding well for either of them. It's not like a Tyler and Angela where it's super late in the game and super secret. It's out there. His mom's in the game. It's weird.
Okay, so quick question. I agree with everything that you said for the most part about the showmance. But I think our opinions on Jared's game are different. So I want to throw something out there to you. I said that if America or Nicole win the game, I would shave my head completely bald. If Jared wins, would you be willing to do the same thing?
If Jared wins the season?
Yep.
Well, he's not in the graveyard. He's not in the graveyard yet.
I mean, I don't have Nicole or America in my graveyard. I just
What about dye my hair? Dye my hair.
What color?
I don't know. We'll see. Gray for Unexpected Podcast.
Dye your hair gray?
For like the Unexpected silver for the Unexpected Podcast.
All right. Deal.
I look terrible with a shaved head. It would be bad.
Me too, bro.
It would be real
if
bad.
One of them win, it's going to be bad.
So I'll take Jared. Do I need to throw one more in there to make that even? So Jared for now? I'll do Jared and Blue.
No, I don't think that she has a chance of winning either. So.
Yeah. All right, if Jared wins the game, I will dye my hair gray for the Unexpected Podcast.
All right, sounds good.
Jared's not winning. I'm very low on Jared. I think he's just going to be completely undermined if he gets to the end. I don't see him winning. There's a couple combinations that could do it, but I'm willing to take that risk for the clip. Whatever. All right. Tier number 4, always use a coaster. Never forget. You don't want those stains on your tables. You always use a coaster because 2 coasters we have are Red and Bowie. They are coasting through, not floating. They are not floating. They are not going alliance to alliance. Red is still fixated on the professors. He's still, Bowie's completely in her own
clueless. I think the best way to describe them would just be clueless.
They're clueless. They have a false ideology of what the game consists of. They're missing out on a lot of conversations, and they're okay with it. With it. Red's losing his number 1. Bowie doesn't have a number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, and they're just coasting stipend after stipend. That's their goal right now. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, definitely coasting and definitely have no idea what's going on. It's honestly hilarious. Like, they're going to be so confused.
I still think Bowie Jane has better odds to win the game than Jared currently, in my opinion.
You're
in my
crazy.
opinion.
You're crazy,
If we're talking,
I legitimately think that there's realistically only, in my opinion, I only see 5 people at most being able to win the game. So
Bowie could win it.
She'll never get the jury votes, bro. Never.
Crazier things have happened. Bowie could do it. I mean, if Bowie gets brought to the end and everyone hates the other person and they like Bowie's honesty, Bowie's going to get votes. It's just going to happen, right? People do that all the time. It's a viable strategy, especially if, because we all go into the season saying, I'm going to lay low at the start. I'm going to float at the start, right? Because maybe she thinks she's floating, but she's coasting. I'm going to lay low at the start, and then I'm going to heat up at the end and win some comps because she's a fit woman. Like, she's not out of shape. She's not, she is kind of stupid, but hey, stupid people can win. Maybe she has good memory. Who knows? Maybe she can hold a button for 14 hours. We'll see. But yeah. And same with Red. Red's oddly athletic. All right. Tier 3. I call it Jags Angels, but it's really just Jag and one Angel because these two are a duo, but Jag is the brains, and he is on tier 3 with Matt. Jag is the brains, Matt's the brawn. It's a good combo. I see these two just getting closer and closer, bonding over mutual connections, mutual losses. Like that Riley hit really bonded them. They're always going to have Blue in their pocket loyalty-wise, just a day one rider in Blue. Big problem, though, is Jared. But, like I said, the biggest pro for them and the biggest downfall that Suri and Jared are taking in this direction is that they are now being associated together more and more by the day. Jared and Matt are now in alliance with both of them containing it, not just Jared. The biggest problem early in the game was that they were in alliance with just Jared, and they would give him information, and obviously, they have no reason to believe he would go to Suri because they were completely distant. But now we're getting to that month. That month in the game where you start to, get more touchy with people and you start to say things that aren't really strategy based and you start to have conversations and slip up. And who knows? Maybe they will just not get associated as mother and son, but they might get associated as a really tight duo that are motherly and, etc. They have a family-like relationship almost. Well, it's their family. That's why, Thoughts on Jags Angels, Jag and Matt?
I just think that they're just kind of placeholders at this point in time. I see them making it to Final 7, maybe one, if not both.
Final 7?
But
that's completely reasonable for them to do. Even if Jag and Matt make Final 7 together, that's extremely reasonable for them to win.
No, one, not both.
One, not both?
Yeah, one, not both.
I don't know.
I think once you get rid of the first one, then the other one's threat level goes down, if that makes sense. So I don't think that realistically. I have Jag. I will talk about most likely to be evicted, but I have Jag in my top 3 of most likely to be evicted next week.
I'm off on that. I'm so high on Jag. Last week, I said he was in the category of one quality away, one thing away. He needed a foothold. He needs to, because he had it at the start. He had the first HOH as his number 1. He had these people that love to laugh with him. He had these people he was building up, and then they just completely scratched and whiffed, and it wasn't entirely his fault. He was playing against a pre-existing relationship, and he's a newbie, and he's still getting a grasp on this game. I want to talk about Paul, BB18. I know I've talked about Paul in comparison to Suri. Suri's BB19, Paul. Jag is potentially BB18, Paul. It took Paul 4-5 weeks to really understand the game and become Paul Abrahamian. He was preseason the favorite to go first. He was up the first 3 weeks in a row, and then he still was losing all of his allies on Jose's side week after week. Did not get control until about Final 10 when Victor came back again and again, right? That helped this game. That's going to be Jag. He's going to be the guy that he needs to keep clicking the buttons together. He needs to keep trying stuff over, right? He was put up. He won a veto. Paul did the same thing. Many people have been put up week 2, 3, and won a veto and gone on to win, right? It's not impossible, and he is truly a potential mastermind. He has such a brain on him Such an understanding for social strategy. He was almost top tier. I mean, he just needs a little more, and he's gonna be that. He's gonna be in Dominic's top tier. I feel like Jag has one of those social games that can be perceived as too likable and used against him. Maybe. I think he's very sarcastic. Jeremy. I think his humor is perfect for the Big Brother house. I hated it when I was rooting against him, the way he, sits in the HOH room and has Blue go down and he cracks up about it. I thought it was so stupid. But the handful was such a good idea in theory. If you really think about it, it didn't work. The handful did not work out. But Jag had set up for him the first HOH and Blue in his core 3. From that point on, they had a majority inside a majority inside a majority. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. That's how it's done on Survivor. That's how you win, right? If you deceive everyone into thinking they are in the true majority and just keep the ball rolling week after week. He had the first HOH. That's how it's done. He had the foundation set up. Obviously, took a swing at one of the dumbest players in the house that didn't need to go home and was completely isolated. Waste of a week on Riley's. And then your number one goes home the next week. Then this happens and it's a complete setback. Your game's completely revamped. This is basically week 1 for him. This is basically it. Hassam just took out the whole line is blurred, right? Whole line's blurred. He can create a new game for himself. It's week 1 for him. This is where you start to say, okay, now it's like I'm starting over, but I have a great gauge on everyone. Matt's my boy. Blue, I'm with. Jared, I'm with. Sari, I'm with. Jared's with Sari. Sari, Izzy, and Felicia are tight. I see them walking around everywhere. Cameron and Red. Red's now isolated. Bowie doesn't talk game with people. Now you just restarted the game for him, gave him his foothold, and now potentially going for HOH. I didn't see him on feed say he wanted HOH, but clearly you're saying
he does. He does. Yeah.
So. An HOH could be super interesting if this HOH is in Jag's favor, not like a Izzy winning, like a truly in favor for Jag. I'm talking a Blue HOH. I'm talking a Matt HOH. I'm talking maybe him.
Even Jared.
Even Jared wouldn't take the shot at Jag. Then you could maybe make cases for like America, maybe Corey.
Yeah, I think so. Corey, America, yeah.
This HOH is in Jag's favor, and he's not going to go home, and he feels that he gets his gears turning. I have a little control over what happens this week. I could angle this in a way I want to happen. If you let that gear click inside of him, you're going to see it in his fucking eyes. They're going to light up like Thor when he gets his hammer. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know. I think you're a little high on Jag, but
I'm high on him.
We'll see.
I think you're a little high on Jared, but
we'll see.
I'm not saying Jag's winning the game. He's tier 3. There's 6 people ahead of him. I'm just saying next week, if you see him atop my tier, I would not be shocked, especially if this HOH is in his favor. If it's not in his favor, then he's back to square one and he's still on the bottom, right? He needs this HOH because this is right back where he was. Day 1, all right, I have a good foundation. Boom! Riley wins HOH. Now I can steamroll it with a handful. Oh, Riley took a terrible shot at Kirsten, and now Riley's out of the game. All right, reset. Now I have my pieces set together. I have the 7 deadly sins. Boom! Blue HOH. All right, Jag's the man. That's what's going to happen. Potentially. A Matt HOH like I predicted. Boom. I can see the edit.
Yeah, sorry. it looked like something was happening on feeds.
No one's out yet? What's up, Fiora?
No one's out yet, but it looks like something's fixing to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Fiora says, I see a Corey HOH happening here. Fiora, I do not, unfortunately. I think he's throwing. And it's going to be so easy to throw this because you can say your finger slipped and it's pitch black. No one, right?
Yeah.
I think Corey's throwing. I don't think Corey has it in him to sit in for 4 hours for an HOH he doesn't need at all. He's probably the number 1 player in the middle. That we'll keep going with my tiers because I'm high on Corey now. I caved. But tier 2, I got Fields and Fieldettes. We got the Fields posse, the Fields wannabe. We got Marie Fields, Felicia Fields, and Izzy Fields. The true family. The true family, as Haysam would put it. These 3 are gonna gain a target as the game progresses, And there is no way no one lets all three of them slide to jury. That is my genuine, honest prediction. I think in the next 2 weeks, this power could change that. If the power changes, don't quote me on it. In the next 2 weeks, one of Suri, Felicia, and Izzy will go home. I don't think people really let it happen. I think one of them has to go. One of the fieldettes has to go home. Maybe Felicia. Maybe Izzy. One of them has to go home. Unless they win every HOH. That's gonna happen, But if they lose power, someone is not gonna let all three of them get jury. 100% not single digits. If all three of them make single digits, there is a case that this is the dumbest cast in Big Brother history.
I think that there's a good chance, man. I really do.
Out of my boy Jag has anything to do with it. All right.
Nah.
Any thoughts on Suri, Felicia, and Izzy
there's nothing really to be said. I just think that the only way that it's something that they're gonna do, that's going to F it up, opposed to Jag catching on and being like, we got to take one of them out. It's going to be something that they do that clues them in to them playing everybody in the house, that then that shot gets taken. You get what I'm saying?
Who would you accredit the move to of them becoming a target if Izzy goes to Jag and talks a million words a minute and is paranoid about 7 people, and then Jag's like, I don't trust you? Would you say, oh, that's Jag's intuition, or would you say that's Izzy's fault for talking to him?
In a situation like that, I would say it's Jag's intuition.
Okay.
But like, if a move like this would have happened where they flip the vote and exclude Jag, Matt, and Blue, and now they're like, what the heck? And then Jag wins HOH and decides to take one of them out, I think that's more them being stupid than Jag making the move.
Okay, yeah. If they're a clear move. But I think the way they are starting to talk to people, I think the conversations they're starting to have, because it was just them. They would just kiki with each other in that little bye-bye bitches room. They are starting to talk to Corey like that. They're starting to talk to Matt like that with this heavy initiative strategy. They're starting to talk like it in front of people. It's getting heavy. And I think if someone like Izzy goes to Jag and starts, no, literally, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Jag's going to be like,
I think it's going to be Corey. And personally, what he needs to do, if he plans on taking Suri out at any point in this game, he needs to use somebody else's HOH to take out one of Izzy's or Suri's pawns, whether that be Felicia, whether that be Suri, even whether that be Bowie, really. You know what I mean? They need, or Mimi, Corey needs to use somebody else's HOH to get rid of one of them so that they're weaker. Because right now they're just so strong.
That could be an American HOH
yeah.
easily. Right. That's probably the number one case for Corey to make a move on is an America HOH. Mm-hmm. I just think the way it's set up, I think if America makes a move, they're going to look directly at Corey and they're going to be like, what the fuck? You promised us you had control over her. It's going to be something like that. So it's got to be like Matt or Jag or Blue, It's got to be something like that, right? Like where he can be like, I had no,
whatever. Yeah, okay. Some seeds.
Atop of Dominic's tier.
Oh boy.
Obviously, we have me, Cole, my pre-season winner prediction. I'm not switching up. He hasn't done anything wrong. She went from playing solid to playing solid. It's week 3. Can't fault her. She's doing great. She's doing amazing. I'm proud of her, and she's got a level head, and I love the edit she's getting. I love the screen time she's getting. I love the DR she's getting. I love the foundation she's building. She's just a little, if I had to put another tier, these two would probably have slipped ahead of her. Despite people are going to think I'm stupid for this, but America, I'm so high on America. I am so high on America. I know everyone's like, she's the next Tyson. She's going home this next week. She's not. She has a foundation. She has people protecting her. She has people that need her. People need America in this game. It is not good for anyone's game. Listen, I said this about Heisem, but I truly believe it's not good for anyone's game for America to go. She is a good source of communication for Suri's side, and she's a good number for any other side, for any other coalition or rebellions against Suri. She's a great number, and she's a great line of communication for Suri, as well as You got this relationship with Corey, blossoming, right? That could be a downfall, but she's a smart cookie. I like her. I'm so
So
happy.
I'll say this about America. Um, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? I say that because I say too many people this week have floated the idea of targeting America. America's running her mouth. What is she doing? America, America, America. There's too many people that are saying that on all sides of the house that I'm not saying it's going to happen this week. I don't think it is going to happen this week. But at some point in the next few weeks, she's going to be looked at as an easy target. She's not solid in any alliance. Matt, Jag, Blue look at her as just a number. They don't trust her. They just look at her as a number. Sari, Izzy, Felicia don't even look at her as a number. They just don't think that they can trust her. And I just think that she's an easy person to just get out one week. I can't, for the love of God of me, see where you are seeing what you see with America, but maybe I'm just completely wrong.
What do you think? Is she getting backdoored? How do you think they go about taking her out? So she's got to get
They
put up.
they just throw her up on the block and just put her and
Who's got?
Red on the
You're
block.
saying not
Her
this
and
week.
Bowie.
You're saying not this week.
No, I think the clear targets is either going to be if Cameron wins, I think that Jag's the target, and I think that there's a chance that America goes on the block next to him. If anybody else wins besides Cameron and Red are the targets, and they're going on the block. If one of them wins the veto, America is the replacement nominee. However, the other person is still going to go home.
We'll see. I think I do agree. I like the analogy where there's smoke, there's fire. I think if you want to win the game, you have to have a little smoke for a good duration of the game. Did you watch Survivor? Do you watch Survivor at all?
Not really. I mean, I've watched Survivor, but I'm not really a big Survivor watcher.
There was a season where I don't want to spoil anything. There was a season with a woman named Erica, and she played a very lackluster game, in my opinion. I know people watching might be super high on her, but there was smoke for the whole game. It was, we need to take Erica out for this. There wasn't really a reason to take her out, but there was smoke, and everyone was talking about it, even though she wasn't strategic, she wasn't amazing at anything, she wasn't strong in competitions, but there was always talk about taking Erica out. That smoke turned into fire, but it turned into a reason for her to be voted as the winner. She did not play a good winning game. She did not play a game that deserved the prize on paper. But because she got to the end and was like, well, we all wanted her out the whole game, we got to vote for her to win. That's kind of what it turned into near the end, right? Where there was smoke the whole time, but there wasn't a solid reason to take her out. It was just like, ooh, America's a good player, or America's, got this relationship with Corey. And the downfall for America is going to be how serious Corey takes it. Because if you see Corey talk to people, he does not want to be associated with her. He likes her, but in group conversations, he's always dogging on her. That's going to be her biggest problem, is she needs someone to angle angle conversations where she's not there for in a positive light for her. Because yes, this week did set her up as the next
easy
person in the spotlight, right? Because that's how it happens, is really there's no reason to take her out, but you need an excuse to take someone out, right?
Right.
So yeah, she's there. There's so many options. She's not going home this week. Very high on her. If someone takes a shot at her, that's unlucky, right? It doesn't take away from the fact that she has the best winner contention right now. I'm talking. This isn't a tier of who's not going home this week, right? Obviously, America is probably more liable to go home this week than Sari, but that doesn't mean. I'm talking to win the game. Who has the best hypothetical percentage of the pot right now? And it is Miko, America, and Corey.
You really, really believe that?
I 100% believe that.
You think that? I don't think that those three have a better chance at winning combined than Sari. Yeah.
I have Sari number 2, so it's not like I can really argue with you there. I just think there's so many things, because I'm looking at jury votes and I'm looking at final 2. I'm looking at it's Sari Fields versus someone. I think there's such a case not to vote for her. I think there's such a case to take her out at some point during the season. Like right now there's smoke for America. She could go home. She could go home in 2 weeks, right? There's going to be that little reason you could put her up.
Mhm.
A move against Suri is gonna happen. Someone's gonna try to take a shot at her directly. Suri, I nominate you. It's going to happen. We can 100% believe that someone is taking that shot. Thank you. See, Fiora says, see, Suri ain't winning this. I think Nicole has a better shot at winning. Corey has a better shot at winning. America has a better shot at winning. Then you can start making the case for Suri because she's just. If you look at the percentage, Cameron has 0%. He's not winning the season. That's why I put him in the graveyard. He's not even sharing a percentage. Then you got Jared. Personally, believe 2-3% chance at winning this damn season. Like if you played out this season from right now onwards, Jared maybe wins twice, 3 times, right, out of 100. America, Corey, Nicole, they're winning. One of them's winning 50% of the time of that 100 times.
You're crazy,
100%.
man.
Suri,
I
in
don't
those
see it.
100, like if we play it out like a situation, like a what's the word called, like a experiment. I'm blanking. You play it out like an experiment. 100 Big Brother games with these players right now. You go to a winner and then you erase their memory, bring them back. Go to a winner. You do that 100 times. Every time someone's taking a shot at Suri, someone is every single time. I promise you.
But Suri's got too many people around her for that shot to miss.
I'm saying down the line, if like I said, if she makes single digits and she's got these people, all right, wipe it clean. Someone's gonna take the shot at her. Suri stays. Suri wins the game. But like down the line, Suri's gonna be one of the tier 1 players, right? Because it'll be down the line. Right now onwards, Suri's tier 2. You have players like Nicole, America, Corey, who have better winner contention. Yes, they might go home, but if you believe on who is most likely to win the game, not make final 2, not make final 5, not make jury, to win the game right now, Nicole, Corey, America. And I want to talk about Corey as well. What are your thoughts on Corey?
Yeah, I like Corey. I don't know if I would put him in the highest tier, but I like Corey.
Really?
I think he has a great chance at winning.
So who is your top tier players that have the best winner contention?
Suri, Corey, Jared.
So you have Corey top tier with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Jeremy says if there's a lot of physical comps near the end, Suri won't get there because a lot of people aren't going to want to sit next to her. But that does come into play.
But if you look at, here's my rebuttal to that. If Suri's going to be in the end, the final 6, the final 7, think about who she's going to have around her, right? Because if she's going to make the end game, she's going to need people around her. Like if she does it, basically the only way for her not to make the end game is if they vote out Izzy, Felicia before they get her out. If those people are still in the game, she's not going anywhere. You get what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
If she makes final 6, final 7, it's going to be Izzy. It's going to be Felicia. It's going to be Suri. It's going to be Jared.
So what you're saying, Corey. If she even gets to final 3, she's there for a reason.
5.
If she gets there, it's there for a reason, and it's because she's sitting next to all the people that are gonna bring her to the end.
Exactly.
Which is a great point. If Suri, which is why I'm not that high on her yet. But right, if she hits final 9 and all these people she's number 1, right? She's winning the game. She's got her people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I see it because Jeremy, you're trying to make the argument that we see players that are of an older stature, maybe
like a Kevin or like a Kevin or
a BB Can Karen, or I'm not saying Suri is anywhere built like Big D, but like someone who's just like not in like amazing athleticism and not in like a complete physical caliber to be winning competitions. Her downfall is that she's viewed as Suri Fields, which is completely different to the Big D or Karen that were brought to final 2 and potentially won, right? But what Jalen's saying, and I agree with, is if she even gets to final 3, she is there with people that are bringing her, because we saw her in the DR, in this episode, say how much she values loyalty in a game where you can't trust anyone. That was her quote. So we know, and she knows that. She's played this game how many times? But to be fair, she has played this game how many times and lost every single time. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we agree on Corey for the most part.
One second, guys. Gotta flip her out here. There we go.
So
chat, rate the setup. Rate the setup, chat.
So I guess we'll wrap it up like we did last week with most likely to, because I want to watch this comp. So most likely to be evicted, we'll give three each. I guess I'll go first. I think it's very cut and dry. Number one is Cameron. Nobody likes him. He's getting the main target by every single person in the house besides him and Red. Number two is going to be Red because they're going to go on the block together. If Cameron comes off the block, Red goes home. Number three is going to be Jag, just because if Cameron or Red win, that's the target. And if it somehow pivots any other way, it's most likely Jag. So I'm going to go with those three.
We'll see. I'm really hoping, because I kind of agree Jag's obviously in trouble. But I'm hoping this is a HOH that's in favor for Jag, because then he does become it's going to be history. He's going to be an awesome player to watch. I think if you hate him or love him or unbiased about him, I think you should be rooting for a Jag favored HOH here, because
I'd be super down with it.
I think him as a player would be good for the game of Big Brother. I think it would be super. I think he's got so much upside, so much.
Yeah. I don't like this Jared and Suri twist because it just ruins.
It ruins all. He has so much upside. I don't want to see him go to waste. I think I want to see him kind of take some reign on this season. But yes, there is a chance he goes home. Right. My top three to go home. So say your top three again.
Cameron, Red, Jag.
Cameron, Jag. Okay. Numero uno to go home. I'm gonna say Cameron. Just obviously just terrible capital in this game. There's no grasp on it. A target still. I don't know how he hasn't been able to diminish his target, his threat level at all. I'm getting updated right now. 2 players that are out of the pressure cooker and the lights are on.
Suri and Jared.
Suri and Jared are both out. So already, thank you, Emerson, for the update. Already in Jag's favor, those are 2 players that needed to let go for the season to take the right direction. I kind of see Jag as
that is so funny. I wonder what happened, because I bet you there's no way they just let something, you know what I mean? They were closest to that door, or I don't know what happened, but that's so funny that they were the first 2 out.
Okay, well, lights are on. So my Matt prediction is just gained a lot of favor. I do still think Matt is winning this HOH. I think Nicole has a good chance. Jalen, you think who's winning HOH?
Cameron or Jag.
All right. So you think Cameron and Jag are most likely to go home? Cameron and Jag are also most likely to win HOH.
Yeah.
All right. I think Cameron's most likely to go home. I'm going to throw. I'm going to pull you. I think, I don't know. I don't know who's going home this week. I don't know. I think America has a shot to go home, right? I love her, but she does have a shot to go home. So I'm going to say Cameron, America, and I'm going to throw one out there and say Blue. I think Blue has a shot to go home.
Okay.
So we'll go Cameron, America, and Blue is most likely to go home. I know I'm going to be off. I've genuinely know it's so it's one of those weeks. Like I said, this is a reset week, right? Hisam's out. Big move was made. It was a huge week. Like I went and I watched I flashed back to the feeds from start of the week when Felicia wins the HOH. So different dynamic. Just completely different. They were only floating the idea of Hisam going home. It's just like it was still professors versus the other side. It was so interesting to know that in 7 days it's going to be this. Like no one was thinking this was going to be how the game shifted. I look forward to it, but it's 100% a reset week. And lights being on is awesome. Glad they are.
I could see Matt winning. I that would be awesome.
Matt winning. I'm looking. I don't think he's letting go. Simply, I don't think it's going to be he slips off or something. Matt is going 14 hours if he has to, and it's going to come down to people throwing to him because he's going to say, I'm deaf. I just want the HOH room to see my family, to have one-on-one conversations, and they're just going to, okay, am I safe? Am I good, Matt? Am I good? And they're going to let go, and Matt's going to win. All right, Emerson says there's snakes in the middle of the circle, so it's like Scary Verse twist.
That's why Suri and Jared like mother like son.
No fucking chance. If the snakes got them,
Yeah, and
Maybe
imagine they
use
had like the same reaction.
Hell no. No, I think they just used it as an excuse to throw it. Suri played Survivor for how many seasons? I don't think she's scared of snakes like that.
Oh, I think she is. Her
Okay.
reaction. I
I
was
think
watching a little bit.
I think she
Maybe.
wanted it. I think she dropped. I think the snakes came out. She dropped, but it's gonna cut to a DR where she's like, I played Survivor for 4 seasons. You think I'm scared of fucking snakes? I just wanted to let go because I know I'm in a good position. I think that's what's gonna happen. Jared though might actually scream like a little girl and be scared of snakes. You never know.
Yeah.
That's
But
how I see
all right. Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. I'm ready to
Oh,
watch this comp.
I'm
Are
going to
you gonna
bed.
are you gonna oh you're not gonna stay up all night and watch it?
I can't. I got work at 4 a.m.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yikes.
I've been up
Yikes.
since 4, working at 4. So,
Oh,
well, yeah.
well,
Thanks to Jeremy, Fiora, Luke, Emerson, all for talking in the
yeah.
chat. Really loved having you guys to chat with today. We're gonna be on next week, 7 days from right now. Next week,
Mhm,
though, I'm off, so it'll be right after the eviction, hopefully.
mhm.
So we'll see. No, but I
We'll
look
see
forward
what
to
happens. Yep. All right. Well, appreciate everybody watching. And who are y'all voting for the power? I'm not voting. I never vote in those stupid things because it doesn't matter.
I'm voting for Miko. Voting for Miko.
The person that I would vote for 9 times out of 10 would never
Miko
have a
in
chance
America,
at winning.
baby. Miko in America. Thank you, Jeremy.
So, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, so we'll be back next Thursday after the eviction. Maybe the power gets used next week. Hey, we never know.
Oh, I keep forgetting about the power. I hate that power so much.
Oh man. All right. Appreciate everybody watching. And I think Matt, Suri, Jag, and Corey will be competing. I could see that. I could see that combination. But I think America is going to be in the
I
four
think
as
Twitter
well.
has so much control over votes
I think
nowadays.
it'll be Matt, Suri, America, and either Corey or Mimi.
Matt, Suri, America, Corey. Yeah, that's 100. I can back that.
4 out of those 5. So
100%. I put. All right.
Well, I mean, Felicia too, though. I mean, one thing I just want to touch on before, just being somebody who watches Feed so much, whoever casted her, thank you so much. Even though she might not be a good game player, which she's decent, she's not bad, but she is honestly one of the funniest people I've ever watched on Feed in my life.
I agree. Listen, I love oddly sometimes Izzy just keeps me captivated too. But
yeah, but Felicia is probably one of the funniest people I've ever watched on Feeds. Just to get a person that's old, that is that old, but also young at heart in the way that she talks, it's so.
Hey, no. Hey, Kevin, BB19 was a dog on Feeds.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. But yeah, there's this one clip on Twitter where she is in the have not room and she tells Jared with such a serious face. I don't know if you've seen it, where she's like, go out there with Bowie, Jane, and Red, see what the fuck they talking about. And just the way that she said it, I could watch that clip on repeat. But yeah, thank you to whoever casted them. But yeah, we'll be back next Thursday. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and have fun watching the HOH comp.
Yes. See ya.
Peace out.